Welcome to Lesson 9B, HTML Helpers in MVC. HTML helpers are an easy way to render the appropriate HTML markup in a view, and the ASP.NET MVC framework provides a wide selection of them. An HTML helper method returns an HTML encoded string of the type MVC HTML string. The string can be used to render something as simple as a checkbox or as complicated as a complete table of data. An MVC HTML string is a string that has already been HTML encoded and therefore should not be encoded again. The standard HTML helpers are organized by class. They include form extensions, input extensions, label extensions, link extensions, select extensions, text area extensions, and validation extensions. You are not required to use HTML helpers. They are provided to make rendering HTML from a view simpler. Now, most of the HTML helpers that I've shown you take a string as their first parameter. However, they are expecting a certain type of data to be returned. If the correct type of data is not returned, the user will receive an error message at runtime. Of course, it'd be better to get the error at compile time instead. Strongly typed HTML helpers provide a way to do compile time checking of your views. Strongly typed HTML helpers use lambda expressions when referring to the model that has been passed to the view. Strongly typed HTML helpers also have a selection of helpers divided by class, and those classes are the input extensions, label extensions, select extensions, text area extensions, and validation extensions, to name a few. In this lesson, you use a few of the standard HTML helpers to create a simple view, and you create a new view that uses the strongly typed HTML helpers. There are no lesson requirements, and the hint for this lesson is to make sure you use the less than %, % greater than script delimiter with the HTML helpers that return a string. To get started with this lesson, select New Project, ASP.NET MVC2 Web Application, and enter Lesson 9B for the name. Click the OK button. Open the About view and add a begin form HTML helper, and we're going to use a using statement. That way it'll automatically close it at the end. We could use HTML begin form or HTML end form, or we could use the using like we are doing in this case. Now we're going to replace the put content here first with an HTML text box. And the name of the text box is text box name. Now we're going to add a button, and actually it's faster to go ahead and add the button from the toolbar, from the toolbox. Now you notice you have access to all of the standard server controls that WebForms uses, and you will be tempted to use them with MVC, but you should not use them because a lot of them rely on view state and control state, which are not available as part of MVC. Finally, we'll add our data, our view data. So we're going to add an action method to the home controller that gets called on an HTTP post. And it's going to return the message. and finally return to the view. Now click the F5 button to run the application. Click the About tab and enter your name. Click the Submit button, and there is Welcome Your Name. Now it would be better if the Submit button said something besides the default, which is Submit. So you can change that by going back to the About view and changing the value of that input button. We're going to change it to Enter Name. Click the F5 button to run the application again. Click the About tab, enter your name, and there it says Enter Name on the button. And when you select the name, there's your name. Now we're going to add a view that uses strongly typed HTML helpers. So first, add a class to the models, which is called the Customer Model, and click the Add button. The customer model has two properties, and we're using code snippets again. So if you type prop and then hit tab, you can enter the data type and then hit tab and hit the data type and hit enter, and it will go to the line beneath that line. And then we'll hit prop again and we'll hit tab. And we'll type string and we'll hit tab. And we'll type last name. So we've entered the two properties of the customer. Now we need to build it. So we'll build our application. And now we're going to create a new view within the Home folder. So add view. Change the name of it to Customer. Click the Create a Strongly Typed View and select the new view that the new model that we just created, which is the customer model. We're going to, for fun, create a Create Type View and click the Add button. There is a lot of HTML that is generated for you. And you can see that it is using the strongly typed HTML helpers. In order to call the view, we need to create an action method on the home controller. So we're going to create a real quick little customer action method, and then we're also going to update the master page to add a tab. So we need to open up under Shared and open the site.master, which is the master page that's being used. And we're just going to copy one of the existing tabs and now update it. So the customer, it's going to be the text of the tab, and then we're going to enter customer. For the action method. Hit F5 and run it. Now we'll have a customer tab. Click on that, and there is our page.